Hey guys, it's Tony. What exactly is going on with GameStop, right? So, I'm gonna try to explain it the easiest way that I possibly can, and then if you guys still have any more questions, feel free to, drop some comments or follow me or whatever and ask your questions. But I'm gonna do my best to actually try to explain this. Okay, so essentially, there are more shares of GameStop shorted than actually exist, which basically means that if the stock goes up for any reason, all the short sellers are going to come under pressure to buy more shares to close their short positions. But when the first short seller cracks and they buy shares, they eventually taking a loss, they inadvertently drive the price up further. Basically means that they're adding to the pressure on the other short sellers. So it's basically a race of like to buy more shares at this point, But there simply isn't enough to go around. So the price keeps skyrocketing before it actually has a chance to fall back down. And shareholders basically, take profits and sell, right? This is what's called a short squeeze. The only way a short squeeze that is actually or can be like prevented and stuff is if the stock price drops for whatever reason, like bad news from the company, or they're getting sued, or something happens, right? An astronomical big sell or whatever. The thing is, GameStop right now is like a super all-time high, and it's basically very unlikely that the short sellers are gonna come out of this like unfucked, right? Like it's not a matter of when, it's just a matter of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and when that time is actually gonna be here. As of right now, what happened on Friday was a gamma squeeze. Like it wasn't the actual score, the actual short squeeze. That actually hasn't happened yet. The gamma squeeze is completely unrelated to the short squeeze, right? But that happens when a lot of call options are being like bought super fast, and the stock price just skyrockets, right? Which basically causes the market makers to buy massive volumes of these shares to kind of hedge against, right? And then that keeps driving the price up higher and higher and higher, and the cycle goes on for like ever. As of right now, there's like a super high probability of a massive short squeeze that's caused by retailers basically like crapping in a bunch of money into shares and calls on Friday. That's basically what happened, which actually caused the gamma squeeze and caused all these $60 out of the money contracts to basically expire in the money, which has never been seen before. This is absolutely like insane what happened, right? And the thing is, this happening on Friday makes a short squeeze even more likely now. So statistically, if the short squeeze had like a 60% chance of happening, because Friday happened and that gamma squeeze happened, now it's like an 80-90% chance that the short squeeze is actually going to happen. If you actually want to, if you actually think and you want to don't mind losing some money, this is something completely unique to GameStop, and something that hasn't really happened before, I think, in the history of trading, really. I do highly recommend shares over. I do recommend shares over calls. Calls probably even far out of the money, and even short expiry calls are going to be really expensive. So I don't know if I recommend anybody really buying those. You guys do know that I bought a couple on Friday, expiring on the 29th. But if you guys are buying calls, I do recommend, just to be on the safer side, buy maybe a month out, because the short squeeze is going to happen. We just don't know when it's actually happened. We don't know when the market makers are actually going to get like super fucked, right? So I do recommend shares over calls, but to be honest, like the short squeeze has, like, statistically has a super high chance of happening now. We don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow or in a week, 2 weeks, but it's gonna happen. All this big money is gonna end up losing a lot, and they're gonna end up losing really fast. Personally, I think GameStop has a big chance of hitting $120 tomorrow morning. That's what I think. I think by close, it might actually hit 120, and then by close it might go down to like $100, and then the cycle might happen again on Tuesday and Wednesday. To be honest, I already told you guys on Friday, GameStop should have hit 120 to $140 if there was no halt here, like around the $72 level. If there was no halt, we would have skyrocketed to $120 minimum, 100%. So buy calls if you're risky, buy shares if you're less risky. I do think that shares are the way to go, but calls 2 weeks minimum, maybe 2 weeks minimum. You have more chance, obviously, of making more money with shorter expiry calls, right? But I do think the safer play would be maybe 2 week out, a month out, call options for GameStop, but the safer option is probably shares, buying a crap ton of shares. We ended the day on Friday with $197 million volume. I do think that that's actually going to go up even further on Monday. It's going to be absolutely insane. If you guys have any more questions, or you guys want to talk about this, just feel free to comment, like the video, and I'll see you.